Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
Good morning, voice. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. It's early, and we decided to, be early birds, and and love birds and all this other stuff. So, yeah. So, what's on your mind today? Anything interesting?
Man, I'm so excited because tonight is the Janet Jackson special starts.
Oh, okay. So Janet is
Come on.
well, Janet's the goaty goat.
I love her. First of all, we that's my homegirl. Came from Gary, Indiana.
Right, right,
Oh
right.
my
Okay.
goodness. And I want to live my life like her.
Okay,
I
okay.
just like not being a singer, songwriter, superstar, but just like her outlook on life is something that I admire.
Okay. Kind of
Yeah.
like how Michelle Obama admires Beyonce.
Oh, I don't know if I'm Michelle Obama
Well, she said she
necessarily.
secretly wanted to be Beyonce. You know that, right?
She wants to be. A lot of people want to be Beyonce. I can get it.
Okay,
I
okay.
can get it. Beyonce's all that.
Okay, right,
What you
right.
talking about?
Yeah, well, by the way, I want to say good morning to Henry and Shanere and Tahara. Shout out what city you're from. Shout out your city or shout out your business. If you have a business, put the name of your business in the chat so that maybe other people can see what you're doing. You always got to advertise. Always let people know what you're up to, what you're working on, stuff like that. And speaking of just business and stuff, just before we even start the conversation, first of all, I'm not gonna put that picture along because I know you don't like that picture.
I do not like
But
that picture.
but yeah, but I was I should let everybody know just as we jump in too
Mhm.
that I want to do an alert on Coinbase. I got a call yesterday from a representative of a 90-year-old man who lost his whole life savings on Coinbase, and the scam was like kind of crazy how they took his money.
They took his money.
They took all of it, every penny.
There's nothing they can do about it, or is it just gone?
Yeah, when they steal your crypto, they can't get it back. And basically, this poor guy, he literally called the customer. He Google searched Coinbase customer service number, and this 800 number came up. That is literally on the site help.coinbase.com.
Mm-hmm.
And he called this number like any of us could have, and it was a scammer. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
I don't know. I was like, I still don't. I'm still trying to understand how did they do that. And I think that I forgot what they called it. I think they called it voice over internet protocol scam or something where somehow this if you Google search customer service Coinbase customer service, like because I talked to Doc Montgomery, our crypto expert in the Black Business School, and literally you can literally be on help.coinbase.com,
Mm-hmm.
and the customer service number that's there, people called it and lost all their crypto.
Mm.
So I just want to take a moment to just kind of warn everybody. Maybe
Mm.
if you have crypto and all that, I know a lot of y'all are invested. Put your money in different accounts. Spread your money out. Right? We talk about investing, diversification, not putting all your eggs in one basket. Well, don't put all your crypto in one account. Get maybe two or three crypto accounts. Maybe put a little bit in Robinhood. I put a little bit in Bittrex. Maybe a little bit in Crypto.com. Maybe you got a little bit in Coinbase. Spread it out because these people out here they're just getting more sophisticated with scams. And it was confirmed yesterday by a crypto expert that this is going on everywhere, and there's no help.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, the
say.
man said Coinbase wasn't helping him. They called the FBI. FBI's like, we can't do anything about it because it's happening to so many people.
Oh, it's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah,
There is no law in the crypto world.
yeah, yeah.
There's no regulation, no nothing.
I know, and
Yeah.
I'm like, don't make me pull up on you. Don't let me find out where you live. Like, shoot, this
You
is
gotta take the law in your own
you
hands.
do.
Yeah, you can't be messing with people's money like that. Their whole life savings.
Oh my
Gee.
gosh, sheesh, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I had to digress into crypto, but let's talk about our topic of the day. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way, and if you don't know, now you know. This show is called Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, and this is where we decided to do this podcast because we figured that we have so many interesting conversations just laying in bed and because we're college professors, you talk about a little bit of everything. Like Alicia watches her little PBS specials, and
I love my PBS.
yeah, and I'm constantly reading stuff, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, it would be fun to like because everybody loves talking about ignorant things Black people are interested in. Why don't we talk about some intelligent things, and just kind of share our conversation, have a little fun. It's okay to be smart.
Okay.
It's okay to be smart.
I'm just being.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe it's smart, maybe it's not.
I don't know.
I just being me.
I take pride in the fact that I met my woman in the library, not in the
We did
club.
meet in the library. I was
Well,
just being me, being
yeah,
in the library. That's
we
all.
met in the library, not in the club.
Well, there's nothing wrong with going to the club.
Nothing wrong with going to the
That's for
club.
what people do, but I just wasn't there at the time. Now I do go to the club, by the
Yeah.
way.
Well, you don't go to the
Well,
club.
not
You
anymore, but
used to. We,
back then I was kicking it.
you know what? We did kick it actually on New Year's. We went out that night for New Year's in Mexico. Remember?
We that is so crazy because normally we never go out. We're like two big nerds.
Two old
But
people.
I didn't feel I felt like we were youthful that night, but we kicked it all night on New Year's. I
I
mean, we went
I
there
had a
must have been
blast.
about 5 parties on that resort and we hit them all.
We did.
Boys, we shut it down.
We did. But it was a blast. It was just kind of
We yeah.
it was kind of
I had
it was
three
wild.
drinks. I had 3 drinks, boys.
Yeah, you were pretty tipsy,
I
out of
was very
control.
tipsy. You could tell in the picture I was kind of out
You
of
were
it.
ridiculous on vacation. But we had fun. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures from that night. It was a blast. We should share some of these pictures. What do you think?
Well, wait, what pictures are you
Would y'all like to
sharing?
see some of our pictures from New Year's? I'm just grabbing some random
I
stuff.
know how you are,
I won't
boys.
grab the one you eating chicken.
As soon as you, boys,
Oh
I don't
man.
know if people know that about you, but like as soon as you take a picture of me and I'll have my mouth open about to eat something, and then that's the picture you share with everybody. It's so crazy to do that.
uh,
And people who know you know that you do that.
yeah, well, then we did a little photo shoot for Christmas. That's Tater, our
Uh-huh.
youngest. Yeah, she's
Look
she's
at
our
her.
she's our buddy. She and I read the script together. We did a table read. She wants to be an actress.
Is she an actress?
Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
working
I
on
had
it
so
though.
much fun.
It's not like you want to do something and then you're not working on it. She working on her craft.
Yeah, she was.
She's refining
Well, she
herself.
wakes up every day and she makes up dance routines and is singing like out loud for no reason and so singing, dancing, and acting,
Yeah.
those are just natural passions for her, and so it's kind of fun to watch her kind of develop in that area.
Well, the youngest is always the most creative because,
Yeah,
I put no pressure on her at all.
yeah, I love my little buddy. But yeah, so Alicia's been reading Powernomics. I'm not gonna leave the
I'm
picture
gonna
up there.
have it done this weekend, by the way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'll have Powernomics done.
Okay. These are more pictures
Oh, I
from.
was so tipsy. Go back to that. I was so tipsy right there. You can tell.
Oh
I couldn't
Lord,
even keep my head straight.
you're lush.
I was a lush, big time lush.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, we have
fun.
fun. We have fun for this. So let's talk about our topic for today. We can't keep on just sort of jumping and digressing into different stuff.
What's our topic, boys? What do you want to talk about?
Well, you and I were talking the other day about Regina King and her son, and
Ian.
in the suicide, which was so sad. And I felt like given that I mean, you're an expert on suicide. We went to Guyana for that semester for your during the pandemic. And I feel like that's kind of the pandemic that they're not talking about,
I
you know?
mean, yeah. I mean, listen. There are people who were already teetering on the edge outside
Oh,
of DC.
wait, hold on. Somebody's saying our sound is out. Can
No
you guys hear
sound.
us?
Oh
Let
no.
us know if you can hear us. Let us know. Give us a yes if you can hear us. All right. Oh, let me go ahead and I'm gonna try. Hey, can you guys hear us now? Okay, you can. You're going in and out. Oh man, you know what? I think it's my fault because I keep messing with the phone. I should probably
Oh, is
stop
that
doing
what's
that.
going on? You're teetering around with the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. I got okay. They can hear us now. Angela and Shanera and Louise said they can hear us. Okay, yeah, but you had the whole situation with Regina King's son, and then you saw that the DC the guy who's the mayor outside of DC, Kevin Ward, that's his name. He killed himself, and it made me think about like what you've always talked about, which is the pandemic outside of the pandemic.
What do
You
you
know,
mean outside of the pandemic?
well, I mean, meaning that there's a lot of side effects of this pandemic that people aren't
Oh
discussing.
my gosh, yes. I mean, what do you expect? You isolate people? I mean, isolation is one of the indicators of somebody who doesn't feel connected with anybody and can't be connected with somebody physically. And you lock everybody away and you expect them to be okay. I mean, remember that whole situation with the Carnival cruises? Where they were just out to sea and all those rash of
Hmm.
people were killing themselves in their rooms and stuff.
Oh
It was
God.
just awful. Terrible thing to do, to separate someone from their support system when that's the treatment for someone who's thinking about ending their life, is to get them connected with individuals. I mean, that's the treatment plan. Get them
Mm,
connected with people, their support system, get them involved in activities, all of the um, scenarios of which to keep people happy and sane are removed from someone instantly. There's no plan. There's no like, okay, we're gonna have this pandemic. Let's all plan and think about it. It happens so suddenly and so quick, so fast, and it's unfortunate. I can't even imagine the emotional pain that a lot of people go through. They feel like the only way out of the hurt that they're feeling is to just end their life. So it's almost like a, a temporary feeling of discomfort emotionally. You can only think of a permanent solution, and that's to end your life. And it's
mhm,
really interesting because when you talk to people who contemplated killing themselves, when you talk to them later on, they say, I'm so happy I didn't do it. It was just a temporary problem I was going through, and I'm glad I waited. I'm
mm.
glad I went and got help. I'm glad I talked to people. I'm glad I had a support system around me because right now I'm so thankful that I didn't do it.
Wow, wow.
You know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. I think for people who don't want to, um, who wouldn't be interested in killing themselves, it's hard to imagine what would make somebody say, "I want to just die today." Only
hmm
thing I can understand, I could partially probably get is maybe you're 80 years old, you've got a
hmm
cancer that's going to be really
hmm
painful and expensive, and you just say, you know what, okay, I've had a run, let me just go ahead and
hmm
pull the plug,
hmm
right? You can get that, but I think when you hear about like some healthy 19-year-old who kills himself because his girlfriend broke up with him.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, that is one of the triggers of someone just wanting to end it, is the loss of somebody close to them.
Really.
Yeah, it's very painful. It's very painful. If you're for some people who aren't as stable emotionally as others, but it could be extremely painful to lose somebody close to you. I know um a lot of husbands, that you got to kind of look at them if they feel like their marriage is dissolving. That's a time where they can be, kind of on the edge, because if you think about it, their whole life is turned upside down. Your
Mm-hmm.
financial situation is not where you thought it should be, and you're losing your whole family. It can be very upsetting.
Well, the
uh,
interesting thing about people taking their own lives
hmm
is I had a dream about this last night, I think.
last night.
Yeah, where for some reason it came to me that Tupac, I don't ask me why this came to my
You
brain.
dream about Tupac a lot,
No,
which
I
is
don't. I don't dream about him a lot.
you don't. I remember a couple of
I've
dreams
had
with Tupac.
he's popped up in my dream, but don't make that sounds just a little gay.
It's
Like
not
no.
no, no. It wasn't in a. It wasn't in a
I don't dream
gay
about other. I
way.
don't dream about other dudes like that.
Oh, come on. It
Can you
wasn't.
guys hear us? Let us know. Give us a yes or no if you can hear us. I want to make sure you guys can hear because G God says the sound's going in and out. I just want to make sure everybody can. Now I'm a little paranoid. So give us a yes if you can hear us. Okay. But yeah, no, but seriously though, I for some reason, the words Tupac was suicidal came to my head. Don't
Hmm.
ask me where it came from, and I think it came from the fact that I think this my subconscious was processing it.
Hmm.
It the conclusion was even though he never really actually killed himself. If you look at his behavior the 2 years before he died, he rapped a lot about death. He talked about when I die and when at my funeral do this and do that, right? And he was in a lot of situations that could have led to instant death. And I wonder if there's a theory around sort of you know the idea that there are probably a lot of people that are killing themselves that aren't necessarily just suicidal, who don't appear to be suicidal because it's not fast suicide. It's not like I shot myself or I jumped off a building. It's like I'm doing a series of really consistently unhealthy, maybe dangerous activities that are probably going to get me killed because I don't really care if I live or die at this point.
Yeah. So there are some people who have like a death wish. So they involve themselves in very risky behavior because think about it. If you want to if you feel like your life is not worth living and you're under a whole lot of pain, you do a lot of risky behavior. And it's more of a it is a type of suicide, and it's more acceptable form of suicide too, because you can kind of like you know play around. It's like you're living on the edge and you're playing around with the edge, and you don't care if you live or die. So what? So be it. It's the thug life. It's this life that I want to live. And so
Mm.
and so yeah, there's death wishes people have, and they just do certain things that's extremely risky because they don't care about their lives.
Well, imagine
Hmm.
a lot of soldiers go through that, right? When you face death up close, so you're not really scared of it, and maybe with your PTSD and mental
Ah,
illness,
I was reading an article. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was reading an article recently about the high risk of suicide among not even veterans, but active duty officers in the
mm,
military right now.
active duty.
The people in active duty, not veterans, not retired individuals, but active duty officers. I think that's what they're called. I don't know military terms very well,
Sheesh.
but there's like a rash of, and I don't know why those stories have been suppressed so much. Like it really is a crisis. They're dealing with a crisis right now. Our
Uh,
military
you know,
individuals.
I
Hmm.
realize that maybe that S word. I'm wondering if Facebook is censoring that because didn't you say that there are studies that show that Facebook was causing people to become depressed, like in their algorithms
Oh
and
well, yeah.
all that. So
There's
maybe
a
they're blocking people from talking about that topic. You
well,
know?
everybody's talking about it. I mean, these are some high profile individuals
Yeah.
who are I mean, not only that, I mean remember in Atlanta, the head of the Metra
Oh yeah.
stepped in front of the train. I
Yeah.
mean,
Did,
there is
did anybody
this has
did
been
it?
going on.
Yeah. Did anybody hear about that? With the guy in Atlanta who was the head of the
Metra, whatever
Atlanta
their
Metro train service,
I
whatever
don't
they
know
call
what
it,
their train service
the
is called.
transportation system.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he
Uh-huh.
jumped in front of a train.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's it. I wonder what he was dealing with.
He was dealing with a lot of stuff. I'm almost certain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not to, at all to make light of it, but you know what it reminds me of is like how you have a captain who goes down with the ship.
Yeah. Oh
You
gosh.
know, yeah, a
Yeah.
Marta. It's called Marta. That's right,
MARTA.
Marta.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago, so it's Metra in
Oh,
Chicago.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, it's just terrible. It's sad. I mean, it's sad that you have, and then also you have a lot of fentanyl deaths. I think 100,000 people
Mm-hmm.
died
Mm-hmm.
from fentanyl overdoses, and they're and fentanyl's kind of crazy because it takes like it takes like a dust particle amount of fentanyl to kill a person, and they're bringing that stuff in by the bricks. It's crazy.
Wait, it takes a dust to kill somebody?
Like,
Fentanyl? Like
yeah,
that's not
like just a little
all right.
bit.
I don't want to make a joke out of it, but if that's the case, then how are you going to get returning customers if they all
There we go.
like? Isn't that the point of drugs?
Well, I
To
think
give
that
them some and then have them
some
come
people
back.
survive, and then some people. Well, I guess most people survive, and then a few people die,
Okay.
and then we add up the number of deaths, it becomes over 100,000.
Oh,
And that, I mean, and it's interesting because it's like
gee.
in the pandemic, because we are so focused on the virus, it seems like we just forgot about all the everything else.
Oh, for sure. It's just we're hyper focused on this
Hmm.
public health scare, basically, is what it is. But we're not interested in all the other public health scares that should have always been a scare. I mean, I think depression and suicide has always been an issue in our society. It's and the thing with depression is that it's so curable.
Mm.
Like the people who 95 people who say, okay, I'm not feeling the way I need to be feeling. I have this perpetual sadness that won't go away. I have all of these issues. If you seek out help, it is 95% curable.
Wow.
95% curable. And we know that only 1 out of 5 major depressed individuals actually seek help.
Mm. Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, and so that is a public health crisis, I think. Of course, as a public health provider, that is a crisis, and then, but the only crisis we talk about is just this big issue with the virus.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, and just in terms of being really practical and intentional about it, anybody in the chat who is listening, who either is struggling with depression or knows somebody who is, man, Black people, y'all got to stop. We cannot, as a community, continue to, on any level, to believe that therapy is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really think, because there's books like Terry Williams wrote a book called Black Pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I know
Mm-hmm.
Terry, and she's talking about that obvious thing where there's millions of Black women in particular that just are functionally depressive. Like they're depressed, but they're able to just fight through it and get up every day and take care of the kids and go to work and all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what is it that's stopping us from getting the help we need? And I think it's the stigma that some people have put on therapy. I think that stigma's going away.
I have seen wonderful things in terms of reversing the stigma, but it's still there. And I think a lot of Black women have started to kind of see that they need therapy. But I would love for a lot of Black men to start seeking out therapy too.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. And I think that there's some awesome people on Instagram and Facebook who are starting to get that awareness out. There's some awesome Black men, Black male therapists who are just killing it and
Mm.
doing some not kill oh that's no pun intended with
Hmm.
that, but just really doing wonderful things with
Just
raising
murder in
awareness.
the game.
Yeah, murder in the game with mental health. But yeah, I mean, it's just we need to see more of that sort of representation in our community, because it's Black people, for good reasons, we don't trust individuals, psychiatrists and psychologists, and we just don't trust that kind of whiteness and establishment, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the principles are based on,
For good reason.
for very good reason. There is I think it's called a healthy paranoia, honestly, a healthy paranoia that we have with the medical profession.
Hmm.
And I go into the history of that,
Right.
so
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, by the way, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. And what we do is we lay against our pillows. That's why we have the groggy morning voice, because we're literally laying against our pillows and talk about just, whatever might come to the brains of two Black college professors that believe in family and love and everything else. So if you could, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. So she's a licensed therapist and full professor of social work. So if you want to know more, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com, or you can follow her on Instagram at coachingwithdralicia. So let me kind of I guess dive in on some other things I've been thinking about. I'd be curious to get your opinion on it. So I heard Teddy Ewing, who is a really smart Black woman who happens to be military. She's a badass. She's a military commander, and she does a show with Lene Javette called Melanated Air. And they were talking about this interesting back and forth between. There was a lawsuit apparently with Cardi B and Tasha K. Now you might say, well, why would we be talking about Cardi B and Tasha K? And Tasha K is this blogger, and but I thought it was an interesting topic because you're talking about a lot of really interesting financial issues and legal issues and things that affect you if you are a business owner. I mean, now you're getting, some realness in terms of, lawsuits being filed over what people are saying on
Oh,
blogs and
mm-hmm.
things like that. And so Teddy made an interesting point, though. She was talking about, on the internet, okay, it's a big deal that you have this black woman who, Tasha K, who, kind of said some crazy things about Cardi and, et cetera. And some of them weren't true, and that is what it is. But she said, the internet's a funny place because they sort of get, there's like outrage over things, over certain things, and people have no response at all over certain other things. Like one thing that she mentioned was she talked about the way the black woman is portrayed or the way people disrespect black women online, and how there's never any sort of outrage over that. Like black women can get on, it can be shown in mainstream media, in really overly sexualized kinds of ways, and there's not any outrage. There's no big deal. Or guys can call black women bed wenches and everything else, and nobody says anything. But yet, when you have this whole little thing with Tasha K saying these things about Cardi B, suddenly, there's all these consequences. So I'm wondering, just since we kind of are talking about black people and mental health, one thing I can say is that I know a lot of black women who are scared to do things like have a podcast or go on the internet because some of the comments about them are so vicious. Like if you're overweight, you'll have got some guy in the chat. They'll say, "Oh, shut up, you big fat heifer," or Vicky Dillard will talk about how people will talk about her weave. Like she's talking about a whole different topic, and they'll some guy will say, "Get that ugly weave off your head." And I'm wondering how that feels, for the black women that kind of have to deal with that crap.
Okay, so you've talked about quite a number of things. So number one, you talked about the Tasha K, Cardi B situation, and I did follow that briefly. And Cardi B said she was almost suicidal because some of the lies that Tasha K was saying about her.
Mm.
Poor
You
thing,
think
you
that
know.
was really the case, or you think she was just playing it up for the lawsuit?
I think Cardi B probably has some mental health challenges
You think so?
based on what I think probably some cognitive and mental health challenges just based on what
Well,
I've
you well
seen.
you you pointed
I
out
don't
that
know. She's not a client of mine, so I
well
can't say that.
people
But
got real mad when I repeated what you noticed, the fetal alcohol syndrome.
yeah, I
That
do.
you can look people in the eyes and or look at their facial features and tell.
Yeah, she does. I mean, her name and the fact that she was named after alcohol.
Oh,
And I know I went to a training one time because I'm a licensed social worker, so I have to get my do wonder about. And then sometimes like I think she has like a speech delay, I think, and that's one of the
uh,
symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome. So anyway, I'm just looking at that alone, and then some of her thought process and her cognition and that and all that noise that she makes. It just reminds me of somebody who might be kind of challenged. But not to just really talk bad about her necessarily, but I just like, oh, she fits the entire profile. And I do teach a class on human development, and we cover that subject. So I did kind of, that was me, and you got a lot of backlash for that. I'm sorry about that, voice, but yeah,
no,
so
no, I think
immediately,
it's okay to. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna walk away from the truth just because people don't like it,
yeah,
And I think that and now this I didn't make this image.
somebody came up with that.
Somebody else made
Yeah,
this.
so
Somebody
it
else
was other
pointed out that
people.
observation. And
Yeah.
the thing about fetal alcohol syndrome that's interesting to me is I
Hmm.
didn't know. I mean, you educated me on the fact that it is horrifically dangerous, but very, very common. and
Yeah.
very
Hmm.
easy for people to be hit with it, because women will get pregnant and not know they're pregnant for several weeks, but be drinking the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And next thing you know, your baby is, messed
Already
up.
having some challenges, even, and they're still forming.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
people get upset. People got upset when I brought it up, but it's like,
Yeah,
just
it's a
because you,
very critical. I mean, just think about if you're pregnant. Just think about all the cells that are duplicating and all of. It's a very sensitive issue. It's amazing any of us made it through the whole process. I mean, we are special individuals, being human being, because so many things could have gone wrong. There's so many things that could have gone wrong because most women don't know that they're pregnant. So if you're
hmm
at that childbearing age, you really need to be careful. You
well,
shouldn't be on New Year's Eve drinking like how I was, but those years are gone, long gone past me. So
I know.
I can kick it on New Year's Eve, but it is really something. I mean, it just occurred to me. But so that was the first thing with Cardi B, is the fact that she was under this emotional distress. And I do remember during the pandemic that she had a temporary separation with her husband. So I couldn't understand. I can understand it. It may have been very difficult for her during that time.
Yeah,
So that's the
perhaps.
first comment that I would make
Interesting.
there.
By the way, let
Mhm.
us know if you can hear us. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear. And now let's digress away from Cardi B. Listen,
Okay. Well, there was
but
more I wanted to
overall,
say about women.
oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I do understand she's got a new video out, and no, was
Who?
it her? Who was that where she was licking on people?
Well, yeah. What
Was
about
that
it?
her? I
Yeah.
wonder, could we sue her? Could we do a class action lawsuit on the fact you hurt my eyes? That
or
was
may or
painful.
maybe a class
Emotional
action. No, but
distress.
I've heard people
My
talk.
daughter saw that.
No, but
That's
I've heard
crazy.
people talk about the. Oh God, that is crazy. Yeah, I've heard people talk about class action lawsuits against the music industry for pushing images of black people that are harmful. That because what happens is that when they stereotype your whole community as a bunch of hoes and thugs, it makes it hard for intelligent black people to navigate the world. Like,
Hmm.
you show up and you say, "I'm not a hoe or a thug. I'm a systems engineer," and nobody believes you.
Well, the thing is that Megan the Stallion, I think that's her song too. Megan the Stallion is intelligent. She just got a college degree. What happened to her college degree? She should be rapping about. Did she get a college degree in healthcare or something? Healthcare administration. That would be a great song if she rapped about healthcare
Mm-hmm.
in the black community. Gold star to Megan the Stallion for that one if
Well,
she did it.
they're not allowed to.
Yeah, but that's the thing. She is smart. There is intelligence with a lot of these individuals. Like, why can't we see that get come out? Why
Yeah.
do we have to see? And it's just weird. I feel like in 10 years, it's gonna be bestiality. It's gonna be all sorts of di- sexually perverted things that's gonna come out. If
Well,
there's no stop.
the sex is, to me, it's low vibrational, low hanging fruit. It's easy to get attention with by showing a little more booty or talking a little bit more about sex, and then also just immature, simple, superficial things, um, fancy cars, guns, Gucci belts, all that other stuff. And unfortunately, what it does is it really encourages people to operate on a low vibration. I don't think you can be your best self when all you're thinking about are things that an animal thinks about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's because animals know how to seek pleasure. Animals know how to, be violent.
Mm-hmm.
Animals know how to, you know, chase after whatever's going to make them feel good. So
Pleasure seekers. Let's
yeah,
just get it instantly right now.
yeah. Animals can have instant gratification. So,
Yeah.
so what I think that they see us as animals, and they encourage us to act like animals, and that way we know our place. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, uh, I'm gonna go ahead and I think. Did you have more to say? You want to
Oh,
say?
no, it's your show. I mean, it's our show, but you run the show. You
Okay,
tell
okay.
me what you want.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if everybody in the chat can hear us because I'm not.
I think we're just talking to ourselves at this point.
Yeah, we could be. We could be. Well, anyway, guys, that's all we have to say today. I hope you guys can still hear us. We're not seeing any action in the chat right now, and I know you guys are in there, but nothing's moving, so it makes me wonder if we're talking to ourselves. But either way, though, we'll talk as if we're not. And we're gonna go ahead and call it one. But Alicia's website, if you'd like to learn more, is coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, you can follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm at boycewatkins.com. And do you have anything you want to say before we head out, babe?
Bye, everyone.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll check back in with you again soon. So take care, and we love you. Peace.